Pontispool.
Hello,
Yeah.
hopefully our
We've only jumped
microphones are
maybe
working.
once since we...
But today we are at Pontispool.
Mill.
So you can see Jansen's in the background chatting to Joe. We've got a lesson with the fabulous bee coach Joe May, and looking at it, all looks quite big. It's cold. My bravery is this much. But hopefully you'll enjoy this. Jansen and I are mic'd up, and we will see what happens. So, yes, we did mic up. A lot of it is us basically saying whoa or good boy, good girl. So we lost quite a bit of context because it was slightly chaotic because there was 3 of us sharing a lesson. So I thought I'd do a very quick voiceover on what's happening here. So Joe was basically asking me how my warm-up going. I was going, oh, it's great, isn't it? And she was like, no, it's not. So basically she was getting me to go forwards and backwards and using my shoulders to act as a brake rather than the hand, which obviously everybody that's ever watched our channel knows I love my hands. They're always doing the wrong thing. So Incy was quite full of it. She's pretty overjoyed to be in a large space going faster. And so hence this is the exercise. So I'm going forwards and backwards, and the backwards needs to be smooth and come back with my shoulders. So that's what we were working on. In a minute you'll see her drop back to trot because obviously then I didn't put my leg on, but on the whole it was getting smoother and smoother. So that is essentially what we were doing here, rather than just cantering around meaninglessly, which it kind of looks like. To get a flying change there. See, working on those. Hey, but yeah. And I'm also riding too long. I need to go up a hole, which I'll do in a bit. But anyway, so yeah, that's what we're doing in our warm-up, forwards and backwards, making sure, because as many people know, Incy often doesn't listen to me, and then I go to the hand. So yeah, it's all about my shoulders and trying to avoid using the hand.
Good boy. Good boy.
Just remember, you want that lower leg position to be solid, which it is.
Yeah.
But sometimes if it's a little bit too forward,
Yeah.
you then lose your...
I know, and then I end up with a tighter arm. Incy.
Insist. Big cat, big girl.
Good girl.
Yeah.
Now you've got to stay straight, but when she takes off and lands, it's got to be on the same plane.
Well, only because that corner's a bit hazardous. So I'll probably just step over
Right? Dead straight.
this little log pile, then loop round and jump. Something over there, then back, maybe into the hazardous corner, and then maybe
Wait,
through the
wait,
middle
don't
ditch.
rush. Good girl, that's better.
Have better, Lucy.
So now it was Nova's turn. We'd actually done the same as Lucy to warm up, just walk backwards and forwards over that little ditch, which Nova had done absolutely fine. And then Joe asked me to pick a course and to just go and get into a bit of a rhythm and get jumping. I think it's hard, you know, in sort of winter and when you're on a surface, although this is a massive arena, just to find your rhythm and get going again. So we'd been cross-country back in September the last time. And oh, you can see there, I just pull, set him up. Yeah, he jumps beautifully. But actually, when you go cross-country, you want to avoid that and jump a bit more out of your rhythm. So that's why we start really small and we just aim to go and string quite a few together and just get that rhythm going. He's a bit all over the place, left lead, right lead, disunited. We don't worry too much about that. I'm more interested in the balance of the canter, and you'll see as we go along that he gets a little bit down in his canter. He's not a strong horse, but his balance goes a bit onto his forehand. That improves as he gets stronger with his fitness through the year. But that's a real priority for me, is just keeping his head up, keeping him balanced. Don't mind so much about what the legs are doing, because he'll jump well, whatever. And then I've got him looking at the fence and in balance. So he pops through this as a little coffin really nicely. He feels super confident. You never quite know how they're going to come out after they haven't done cross country for a while, We feel super.
So, as we learn more and more about this YouTube lark and videoing and editing and microphones, our new lesson learnt is that even though Jansen and I were microphoned up, we do only say whoa, good girl, good boy, and discuss our course tactics. And then we lose a lot of context because we're all chatting away and whatever. So we'll voice over our own bits, and that will probably help give a bit more context to where we are. So this is my first cross-country jump for a long time, and so we are not asking to change the world. So it's just a have a nice time and enjoy ourselves. Check the horses are up for it, and obviously you saw my little messing about the ditch, which was quite irritating. We hadn't actually jumped anything before then because we just normally start on a ditch like that, and she does know better. But she didn't really go backwards or turn around. As you can see, she's quite fresh and full of it. So this is where I'd normally tighten my arm, and then I actually, look at me, rode forwards. And she's off because it's all quite small and easy for her. So basically this is just really her warm-up and check she's listening and not just disappearing into the distance with me. She's a weird one. She's not actually strong. She's just like a fizzy bottle of Coke, just builds up in her energy. But actually the reason she's in a snaffle and cavesson is because she just isn't strong at all. You know, she doesn't pull. She just builds her energy up high. So yeah, this is all good.
So it's Nova's turn again. So Joe gave us another little course to do, focusing on jumping and turning. So that Nova learns to always sort of be looking ahead and looking for the next thing. He just isn't very experienced yet. And here we jump, turn, turn, and then there's a little chicaner just behind that fence. I absolutely hate chicanas. I'm ditchy, the horse isn't. That's because I had a bad accident at a chicaner, actually on his mother. A good few years ago, and I really should have got over it by now, but there you go. Got my own hang-ups. So we come back to it and jump it a bit more forwards this time. And then we come down through the coffin again, but this time on a different line. And you can see I don't do a very good job here. I let him 2 strides, but then we prop and we stick in an extra stride, which was bad from me. Got to ride more forwards.
That's a good girl. Now we're going to make a square turn. So this is all pretty straightforward stuff over small fences for us. So it's just really checking I can ride forwards and I'm balanced and that she's turning. As you can see, she gets a little bit fussy in her head, but she's always been like this, and it's mostly because she'd rather fly at a fence at rapid speed and then gets a bit wooden and jazzy up. Arena eventing is not the best for her. It does wind her up a bit. She's much better and a bit more polite on a cross country, hence why you will never see her go arena eventing. It just doesn't suit her, and it wouldn't. She'd just get hotter and hotter. But this kind of stuff, you can switch her on and switch her off. And you can see she looks great. She's athletic. She's forwards. Now we're going. She doesn't make my life easy. That's the wrong expression. But she's just so keen and straight at a jump. And you know, as long as she's vaguely in the right direction, she'll give it a go.
So Joe now sets us a more technical course, which I'll just let you watch. You'll see the difference between how we do it with Nova and how we do it with Incy. Is Nova, we break it down into stages a bit more, whereas Incy just goes and does the more technical part of it straight off. See what I mean about the canter here? So the canter just dives down on my hand here, and then I go to pick him up. And we don't get the best stride, but the balance is better and the jump is better because of it.
So she's just about to come down the step, be really cocky and think she knows best, chucking a buck just because she's pretty cheery about everything. And then she's like, has to actually try a little bit harder. Oh, yeah, there you go. She is a funny little thing because, actually quite a big thing, just because she's just a bit of a enthusiast and doesn't really have much discipline in her life. So this is a 1-stride brush. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. My elbow's flapping for England, probably because the turn's quite tight and I didn't do it the best job. But as I said, she finds that kind of stuff really easy. And this distance is just so easy for her. You know, just keep riding forwards and just slightly balance in between. Old windy Lucy. What chance is this?
Good boy. Good boy.
You can make the distances easy.
Boy.
And that was okay, I would cancel now. But if he wasn't good coming in, I would trot it again.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, no, she's gone in pretty easy. Once she's like gone in once, she's absolutely good as gold.
Boy.
Then, that's the told me was good boy, he thought that meant stop.
Wait. Stop.
Careful.
Ooh.
Good boy.
Oh, don't run Tom over.
So you've seen a bit the process that Joe suggested using, which is really just build it up very gradually and just have them super confident. She said do this all the way through, even if they're going to like Badminton 5-star the next week. Always do it really progressive. She'll always walk, and Joe has actually ridden and been competitive and successful at 5-star herself, so I do take her advice seriously on this. She said always break it down, walk in, get them used to it, trot in, get them really super confident, canter in, then start adding your jumps. She said schooling is not the time to test them, and I totally agree with that. You test them in competition, but you build the confidence every time in schooling. I think that will really work with Nova. He's really thrives on his confidence.
So I've slow-mode this video, and the reason is it's quite a useful learning point, I think. So Incy's one of those weird horses that once she's gone through water once, she's absolutely fine. So Nova and Incy are both a little bit suspicious of water, but once Incy's actually got her feet wet, she's absolutely fine. So pretty much you trot through once and then crack on. So she's cracking on with jumping the brush fence into it. So this, she's nice and brave. I've got her contained because you don't want to be too fast at water, so she's got a chance to look. Got the good old flappy elbows. Well done, Lucy. But what happens is she lands and then runs through the water and then finds the distance out quite short. So, you know, she's an athlete. So what you're going to see in a minute is us halting before the jump because she's not allowed to run through water like that. She actually has to stay in balance. So we're coming around again, and this time we're going to see what happens. So she comes in, she's quite buzzy. She's not actually quite as buzzy as last time, but you can just see she then, a half halt, she ignores me, and so she gets pulled up. It's not to tell her off, it's just to say she's got to listen to the first half halt and wait, because what happens if that had been she doesn't know what's coming up next. If that had been a step out, that actually, you know, she could have tripped up it because she wasn't listening. She just literally lands and runs through the water quickly to get to the next fence once she's seen her line. So I think this time you'll see a difference in that she lands and is a lot more conservative through the water rather than actually just landing. There you go. So I've actually got control and balance coming through the water. So there's quite a big difference.
So our next step of progression is to go off the steps. Just don't take this for granted. We've done this in walk a couple of times. We went off a teeny tiny one first. Nova actually hasn't really ever done many steps into water. I'm trying to think. So this was, you know, very early days for his training to water. Joe told me off there for letting him just canter on through the water. She said that you should get them to go calmly through the water. So this time I had to jump off the step and then stop by the tree. Woo. Stop, Pat. Well done, good boy. So that they just learn to relax when they go into the water rather than run away from it. It just becomes a thing that they do. They're very quiet, very, very calm about it. So this time we're allowed to come through normally, having just put in the discipline of having the stop. So off the step and then just quiet. She said you're only allowed to trot through it.
There you go. On this one, you'll see that the work we've done earlier with not letting her run through the water at a rapid pace has paid off. She's she's still a bit forwards, but we're in much better balance now across the water. So this is again another quite interesting one. What you're going to see is she takes on the jump really well, but she doesn't. She basically just like steps off the water in a bit of a weird way. So Joe's like, no, that can't happen. She's got to actually take a proper step. She can't just fly off the water like that, because if you had a bigger step, she'd obviously trip up and go flying. So we're going to do it again, but try and get her more conservative on the landing side rather than just flying. There you go. This time you can see it. She takes a proper pat with her hind legs on the step rather than almost like tripping off it. I'm not quite doing it properly with the hind legs.
Okay, so then we kind of put it all together and both jumped around a little course. So he was a little cautious there at the top of quite a steep little mound. I was pleased he locked on and angled the brush. And then the nice thing about Pontispool, it's an amazing facility. We're so lucky. It is big, so you can actually get up to, you know, not quite your cross-country speed, but a bit more than just your show jumping canter. Our main criticism of a lot of these arena cross-country type things is that actually they're in quite a tight arena and you never find your rhythm, never find your stride. So yeah, Pontispool is just great for that. So you just go and jump a selection of things. I wanted to put him back through the water a couple of times, so we did a couple of combinations that we hadn't yet done through the water, keeping in mind Joe's advice to sort of make him patient through the water, and then jump back up the bank a little bit, and then yeah, just finish off with a little play. I mean, the horses are not super fit because it's only January. We've got a while before anybody goes anywhere exciting. Nova probably won't start his actual event season until April. Incy will start a bit sooner because she's on the grassroots train, so needs to be fully going by May. But yeah, that was Nova done.
So here's my final check with Incy. We're not here to set the world alight today. We're just having a bit of fun, and it's important to have some fun. It's good fitness for her. It's something she really enjoys, and we're very lucky to have this like 40 minutes away. So just going to go around, jump some nice straightforward bigger jumps, just check I can still ride forwards. She does get hot and buzzy arena eventing because everything's on the turn. She's a bit nicer to ride cross country because you can go a bit faster. But at the same time, it's very good for her for a discipline because she has to shorten and lengthen and come off turns and stuff, which, you know, as you can see, she's quite enthusiastic about life. As I said, she is a weird one because she is not strong at all, but she's just gets bouncier and bouncier. So that's where she makes life a little bit trickier when you're riding her, and why some of my riding is just not as tidy as I'd like it to be. I spent all the night before watching Tom McEwen ride and what he does with his hands, but it clearly didn't rub off me on this day.
Yeah, you didn't do the line to the brush.
I know.
You get really
I know. I'm happy. She feels... Exactly, it's January. She feels amazing. She has 5 times more bravery than I do.
I think you're quite brave today.
Wow. What's...
when you got the microphone on.
I know, well, I need to get fitter. I've told everyone about my fitness aims. But I've got a hotel chocolate delivery tomorrow. Because I've got free biscuits from my velvetizer.
Well, you need to fuel your body.
I will need to fuel. I've also got a cake delivery later, but to be fair, most of that is being given
Cake
away.
delivery?
Yeah. This is why I'm fat.
I can't afford to eat, so I'm quite jealous.
Yeah, well, the hotel chocolate was £10 worth of biscuits for free, so I just ordered a couple of our favourite slabs for a day when we deserve it.
As well.
The day when we deserve it, we'll get the slabs of hotel chocolate.
Oh, what, you mean the first eventing day when it all goes to absolute hot?
It'll be a miserable day when we're so good at just turning up and being good.
You mean
You're
next week?
such a good girl.
Oh, they were very good.
You're my
ponies.
favourite girl.
Thank you for filming us, Tom.